Welcome to TMZ Live. Harvey Levin here.
Charles here.
So Sam Asghari has got a deluxe apartment in the sky.
Ooh,
and guess
I like the reference.
Guess who's paying?
Not George Jefferson. Britney Spears. And she is paying handsomely for this place.
We should say, he is now living in one of the best apartment buildings, if not the best, in Los Angeles.
Beautiful.
This is a coveted place to live. Lots of celebrities live there. It starts at $10,000 a month and goes up to like $65,000 a month
So
for an apartment.
So in that sense, Britney's getting a deal here.
Britney's getting a deal, and because Sam apparently knew somebody in this building and kind of got an upgrade, but he's paying the base rate, or she is, $10,000 a month. You gotta wonder, why would she pay for that?
Because it doesn't make a lot of sense on the surface.
On the surface, it doesn't, because
he left her.
He left her. He filed for divorce. They are not speaking. It was a very acrimonious breakup. They have a prenup. In the prenup, he gets no money, only gets to keep the gifts that she gave him and the cars that he has. So why would Britney Spears front $10,000 a month under those circumstances to her estranged, soon-to-be divorced husband? That's the question.
Well, if you think about what's happening behind the scenes, they are negotiating the end of this divorce, right? I mean, we know that there's a prenup, but we also know that it's possible Sam experienced some things behind closed doors that Britney and her side don't want out. So you keep Sam comfortable, you keep him happy. Hey, remember that $10,000 apartment I've been paying for? Maybe we kind of work that in here too. It's a dance, and it's a game that they have to play to make sure that he's all right.
It is a dance.
That's exactly right.
That Sam sort of kicked off when he filed his divorce documents and said that he wanted spousal support because he knows that there's a prenup where he wouldn't get that. So
it's a signal that he's going to challenge.
He's going to challenge, and that means now, hey, let's keep this guy happy. And then he calls up and says, hey, I got a place to live.
I want to be quick to say that we are not suggesting that Sam is going to start blabbing about things that he saw, and he did see a lot. I mean, look, there
obviously
was very tumultuous, and they had a very fiery relationship for 6 years. But, you know, it's not like he's about to blab. That's not what this is about. But what it is about, if you think about it, is, you know, Britney has some people around her still, you know, professionals who are saying, look, you pay for his rent, and he's in this really nice building. It just disincentivizes him from even thinking about doing anything like that. Because Sam's got a great situation in that building right now, and it's something he couldn't afford on his own.
Right.
So it
keep him happy, and you keep him happy, and everybody ends up happy.
And so as for the prenup,
closer to happy.
And you know, Devin was mentioning this in the office in our morning meeting today. Why do people even have prenups if everybody challenges them? Most prenups, especially with celebrities, are enforceable. I mean, they're valid. The other person always has a lawyer that represents their interests. So they're valid. But the game in this business now, in divorce, is that the side where the prenup doesn't work for them, they always say they're going to challenge it. And there are confidentiality agreements attached to these prenups. And so the other person usually says, look, do I really want to roll the dice and either have them just
have them blow off? Yeah, they could blow off and take the risk and talk.
Or, you know, God forbid for them, if they go before a judge and the judge says, oh, there was a problem with the prenup, they just don't want to take that chance. So what we've been told from the jump here is that Britney is probably going to end up writing a check for a couple of $100,000 for Sam, and it'll all be over. But that's the way it works in Hollywood. Even with a valid prenup, this is just the game. And so...
price of doing business.
The price of doing business.
The business is getting married.
Hello, this is Winston from Atlanta. I think that he needs to go down to the unemployment office and get a job. And I think the only reason she's doing it is just to keep him happy right now. And again, she's just paying his rent, not buying him a house or anything. I think she just wants him out of the house.
So can I ask you something? Like, sometimes if you have a drink or a can of THC or whatever, do you just stare at those fish? Because that just is mesmerizing to me.
I had no idea where he was going with that. Wow.
I'm serious. Those fish are mesmerizing to me.
No, it's just in like the little office thing.
You know it's not an aquarium, right, Harv? You know? It's a monitor.
It's still mesmerizing to me.
All right, we're going to get you one. We'll put it on your desk.
Okay, we're going to move on.
Yes, Kevin Hart, who is in dire straits right now, health-wise, is in a wheelchair. This is not as serious as the car accident that he had a few years ago, but he is in a lot of pain, all because he decided to prove his physical prowess against someone who used to play in the NFL at a very high level. Stephen Ridley played for the Patriots. He might have even won a Super Bowl with them. I'm not sure.
He did, Charles.
He did.
He won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady.
Yeah. So why in the world would Kevin Hart try to challenge him? As you're about to see, it did not end well for Kevin.
This is just a public service announcement because I know people may see me out, and I don't want you to be alarmed, but I'm in a wheelchair. Yeah. Those that know me know I'm pretty fast. Steven said, Kev, ain't no way you're going to beat me. Steven is an ex-NFL running back, played for the New England Patriots. Very good guy. I said, Steve, you can bet it. He said, bet. I said, bet. We get out there, we go run the 40-yard dash. 40-yard dash. Guys, I blew all tore my lower abdomen. My abductors are torn. I don't even know what that is, but I tore them. I tore those two. I can't walk. Why did I even race? Stupid ever. Now I can't walk because I'm somewhere trying to get the title of the fastest at the barbecue. What was I thinking, son?
First of all, I know it's, but help me out here. I have never heard of anybody tearing their abdomen.
Tearing your abdomen,
I've
tearing
never
your
heard that.
abductors, which are the muscles on your hips that connect your legs to your abs.
So everybody in the office in the morning meeting today said, okay, well, when you're 40, life is over. It's got to be age.
Yeah, listen, Kevin, that's not. I mean, I don't know. We haven't seen video yet of, and I know someone has to have video
Of the race?
of the actual race.
It would be so painful to
But
watch.
Kevin has done lots of physical things over the years, and he's been fine. I mean, even after he had that accident, he's been very active.
He has.
And he's been fine.
You know what, Charles? I just happened.
Look at this, remember? Yeah,
That's Usain Bolt.
This is Kevin racing Usain, but now Usain Bolt gave him like a 50-yard.
Watch what Kevin does at the finish line.
Oh my God,
He's so
that's
funny. Watch this.
hysterical. Okay, that's hysterical.
And he was fine there, right? And that's running on the
was
beach where
fine.
you can really actually injure yourself running on the beach.
That's right. But he's 44 years old. The thing about Kevin, though, is if you remember that horrible car accident that he got in, he messed up his back, something fierce, and had surgeries and rehab.
Yep.
So I'm not saying that that's connected at all, but that was a really serious accident.
So about this whole thing about being 40-something.
This bothers you.
Yeah, because I'm the next level up, so it definitely bothers me.
No, 50. In the
You
old days,
can
40
be
was old.
active.
40 in 2023 is not old anymore. 50 is old, though.
No,
Anything over 50 is
I know.
It's how you take care of yourself.
Exactly.
It is how
and
you
Kevin
take care of
does take
yourself.
care of himself. I don't know what happened on the day of this race. Maybe he didn't stretch.
Oh, Charles, you know how many Olympians have you seen that pulled something? Normally it's like a quad or something on the legs, but you've seen a lot of really great athletes get hurt running.
Right. So here's the thing about Kevin. He is competitive, and I know you say that he was racing him and the guy's out of his league and whatnot. Kevin was trying to win. That's what happened here. Kevin was not just racing for fun like he did with Usain Bolt. He was racing to win, and that's what happened.
You know what? I think that Kevin Hart, had he not gotten hurt, he could actually hang with Stephen Ridley. Stephen Ridley was not all that fast. He's kind of a slower running back, and I think Kevin Hart could have won if not for the injury that put him in a wheelchair.
My name is Derek Lackman, coming out of Pittsburgh, California, and Kevin gotta relax, man. The 40-yard dash is a young man activity. He put him in a wheelchair. He's gonna be thinking about this injury every single morning, thinking about that loss. He needs to stick to golf, bowling, maybe a pool or something that doesn't,
Pickleball,
bridge,
maximum effort.
Okay, we're going to take a break.
All right, when we come back, Chrissy Teigen launches a new product, a product that I would think would be perfect for her. She's a new mom, once again, but the stroller, or supersized stroller that she rolled out, is getting destroyed online. The reviews are horrible. but it has nothing to do with the product itself. We're going to show you why people are still holding a grudge against Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen really went through it a few years ago. In fact, she just backed away from all appearances, got off social media, and we thought that would sort of pass.
It did feel like it passed.
Well, it turns out a new product that she just rolled out is revealing that there are still some people who are holding a grudge over some things that Chrissy said years ago on social media, particularly about Courtney Stodden, and she was called out, rightfully so, perhaps, for bullying. Well, the product she just rolled out, which I would have thought was perfect for her, she's a new mom, it's called the Wonderfold Wagon. Wonderfold because it folds up, and Chrissy helped design it.
We get it.
You get it? All right. Well, because you know all about baby products?
I know why it's called Wonderfold, okay? So I get it. But so the idea is you can put like 4 kids in this thing. It's $999.
Launched yesterday, and immediately the reviews on the company's site,
scorching.
Absolutely. I mean, it was averaging like 1 star. I think there were 46 reviews. 40 of them were 1-star reviews because people were saying things.
Not about the product.
Not about. There were some.
There were a few about the product.
About the product.
But a lot about
mostly
just Chrissy.
Targeted right at Chrissy, and people are upset about it. They said there is no way this company purposefully chose such a vile person to work with. To sell a product with its purpose to be used with children, you chose a woman who told a child, Courtney Stodden, to kill herself. Here's one that's kind of about the product. The colors are not great. Looks like cotton candy threw up on an ice cream cart. Don't even get me started on collaborating with someone so vicious and hard as Chrissy Teigen in such poor taste. Wow. And there were several dozen others.
Now, again, we're talking, what, 46? That's a very small number of people who are haters on the internet.
And by the way, we should say that the product did sell out, actually. So a lot of people did buy it. So if you're selling out, and I don't know how many units they moved, but you're right. If only 46 people leave bad reviews, you're still doing pretty well. But something interesting happened today.
Fascinating.
Yeah, you guys. So new update here. On the website, as you guys know, there was a bunch of people like saying horrible reviews. Well, now it looks like a bunch have been removed. Now remember, this is not the Yelp page. This is on like the main
site.
Company website. So it looks like they're combing through and they're scrubbing these one by one, kind of trying to save face. But remember, the buggy, it's sold out already. So yeah, I mean, in a way, she kind of won, but...
Is that kind of cheating?
Not really, because it isn't a Yelp review. And I agree with Charlie. I mean, look, the company can do what the company wants to do.
Sure.
And look, if I ran that company, and I'm thinking about it, and you've got these people that are coming online, just hear me out for a second. And they're not talking about the product, but they're talking about her.
I was going to agree with you.
You know? It's like...
It happens every now and then. I do agree with you.
And it's okay, right?
Yeah, if you're taking away reviews that aren't talking about the product itself,
right?
I get it.
And then all of a sudden you get 1 star, and it has nothing to do with the product. So I get why they would do that, especially if they sold out and people generally like the product. I get it. I mean, why do they have to be held hostage by the 40 people?
But this is also, where are the people who bought it and loved it? How come they're not leaving?
Because
that's the way it works.
It's easier
online.
to go negative than positive.
Right. It's always anytime you're looking for a review of something, it's really hard to find positive reviews.
Right.
But also though, if you did buy it and you did love it, do you really want to post it and like open yourself up to being attacked by all these other people? I would just stay quiet and kind of, show up at my kid's 4th of July parade and not say a word.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah. That they don't want to become targets themselves.
Right.
That's right.
Hi guys, this is Candace from Norfolk, Massachusetts. I love the Wonderful Wagon. It's a really good wagon. And the people complaining about the price, it's always that expensive. It's like a kid car for multiple kids, but I think everyone needs to leave Chrissy alone. Like, she's been through a lot. Get over it. Like, move on. She's apologized. She's gone sober.
She's apologized profusely over and over. And years ago, there's something in your living room that Harvey wants to question.
Is that a Christmas wreath?
What?
I'm at my parents' house right now, so... Yeah, it's like one of those leaf, like foliage.
So no, it's not a Christmas tree.
Oh, okay, good. Because it's August. Okay, we're going to move on.
You never get started early enough or late enough.
We're going to move on.
Yes, moving on to Drew Barrymore and an update, a pretty frightening update on the video we showed you the other day.
Yeah, this is crazy.
So, remember, she was doing this interview with Renee Rapp in New York City when some guy charged up to the stage, said, "You know who I am, and I need to see you before you leave New York." Said his name is Chad Michael Bustow. Well, Chad Michael Bustow showed up at one of Drew Barrymore's homes out on Long Island in the Hamptons. Showed up at the outside of her estate.
This is right after this.
Yeah, well, no, it was the next day.
Right, but I did. Yeah. So this wasn't a one-off with him. He was looking for her.
Right, and as we told you, they didn't arrest him at that event. They took him out, but they didn't arrest him.
Right, and then yesterday he was going house to house in the neighborhood out where her Hamptons house is. Police finally found him kind of canvassing the properties looking for hers, and they took him into custody there. And they are saying that Drew was not home at the house in the Hamptons at the time, so she was not in harm's way at any point.
Yeah, but the fact that he would go...
It's really scary.
So much out of his way. He's in New York City one day, and then a couple days later shows up out in the Hamptons. Clearly...
And we talk about this all the time. And then you get a restraining order, but the restraining order means somebody's got to follow it, and these are the people least likely to follow it when they become obsessed.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Don't know what this guy's beef is with Drew, but yeah, definitely a scary thing, and good thing that the police were there to take him into custody.
Nicole from Tennessee here. I will say I'm surprised that there wasn't any security on Drew's property, being, you know, that she is Drew Barrymore. Also, from that moment that he ran up on stage, there should have been some sort of precaution or some sort of action taken to make sure that, you know, he was in some sort of custody, even if for a brief time. But I'm glad that everything was okay and that she wasn't at home, because that's really alarming.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about the event in New York City. I guess there really wouldn't have been a reason to arrest him. He hadn't, at that point, done anything other than startling people.
Right, and he was invited in, so it wasn't a trespass. I mean, they invited the public in.
Right.
This is different.
Yeah, that showing up at our house.
Okay, we are going to take a break.
All right, when we come back, Harvey's going to gloat a little bit because something went down at the GOP debate last night that he predicted it. Who was the big winner? None of the career politicians. Instead, it was that gentleman right there, Vivek Ramaswamy. When we come back, can he actually do what some people say is impossible? Can he become the candidate instead of Trump? We're going to be joined by a former RNC communications director who knows what's going on inside the party. Well, Donald Trump was not there for the first GOP debate for the GOP presidential candidate.
Although one of the moderators said the 800-pound elephant not in the room, which I thought was interesting.
Yes, and certainly there were more than a few references to him during the debate, but all the people who were there hoping to unseat him, and he has a huge lead right now, maybe insurmountable, most people think insurmountable, but didn't stop them from trying to, you know, shine their own light. And one person in particular, according to the polls, came out on top. And if there's a smile on Harvey's face...
Who I predicted.
Right. That's why there's a smile on his face, because he called this one. Vivek Ramaswamy, according to the polls, the guy who came out on top. And there were a lot of people who were going after him. And here's just a little bit of the highlights for Vivek.
Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax.
If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And Chris Christie, honest to God, your claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if your entire campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one man.
Let me take I'm sorry, 30 seconds cover.
You make me laugh because you sit here in an answer. You sit here in an answer.
Did it not seem like it was like a rock concert?
All the other candidates played right into his hand. That's exactly, once you make him that important, that he becomes the touch point to all of this.
And he had the crowd on his side.
That's right.
So at that point, so what do the other candidates do going forward now? Joining us to talk about that, someone who knows all about the GOP. He's the former communications director for the RNC, Douglas High. Doug, welcome to TMZ Live.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
First of all, I'm a fan of yours. I've been watching you, and you know your politics. So tell me I'm wrong that Ramaswamy did not just rip out the playbook from the page of the playbook from Donald Trump's 2016 debates.
Well, first off, thanks for having me, and thanks for your kind words. I appreciate it. Look, he had a big night, and if you're Vivek, clearly you're in this to get as much attention as you can, because he's going on every interview opportunity, podcast opportunity that he can. He's seemingly everywhere. But I thought the clip you played to me was pretty telling, not just of Vivek last night, but also all of the candidates. You know, he said Donald Trump was the greatest president of the 21st century. Now, we haven't had a lot of them, but if Donald Trump was that great, why is Vivek or anybody else running against him? And I think a lot of what we saw last night was a real hesitancy, regardless of who's more talented in delivering their points than one or another. Vivek is very good at it. Chris Christie obviously is good at that. Nikki Haley had a good night. But ultimately, you have to answer the question of why are you running? And ultimately, are you running? You know, we saw everybody raise their hand that they would vote for Donald Trump.
You say that why are they bothering? It seems to me Ramaswamy is going for two things, and maybe all of them are. One is...
No, not all of them.
Well,
there are a couple who are definitely not going to be.
If Donald Trump... Well, right. But if Donald Trump, for whatever reason, does not end up running, you know, whether it's medical or whether it's legal, then somebody has got to take the place. But the second thing is being the vice presidential candidate.
Right.
Right?
I mean, you can take Pence off that. You can take Chris Christie off that. And probably Nikki Haley.
But you can't take Ramaswamy off that, right?
Well, potentially not. But I'm sort of reminded, watching him last night, he reminded me of Ben Carson with a little more caffeine in him. And certainly, you know, he has well-delivered lines. He knows how to do that very well and to get attention. But if Donald Trump, for some reason, is not the nominee, this whole race resets. And all of a sudden, I think we look at everybody in a very different light, and they'll all get a lot more attention. And with attention comes scrutiny. Vivek has not gotten scrutiny yet. And I think with his comments on things like 9/11 truther, some of his comments about Israel, that sure is going to come.
So I'm really fascinated by this. He's 38 years old. And yet, you know, with all the young people, and I haven't seen the polls on this, but I'm making an assumption that the vast majority of young people, much more so than older people, believe in climate change. And, you know, we have just lived this summer with this crazy storm here in California, with the tragedy in Maui and everything else we've seen. Yet this guy goes in hard and he says that climate change is a hoax. He wants to pull support from Ukraine. He mentioned Israel and all. And I feel like there's almost a paradox here that you've got a young guy you would expect to moderate, but he's gone the exact opposite way.
Well, I think it gets him more attention. And look, I've worked with the Harvard Institute of Politics. I was a fellow there. I'm on the board of visitors for my alma mater, the University of North Carolina. We beat Coach K. We retired him 2 games in a row. And what we see is students, this is an existential issue for them. And Republicans on a lot of the social issues are not even talking the same language that young voters are. And with Vivek, he's leaning very hard into this. And I think it's surprising. It's one of the ways that he's getting noticed. And the other way that he's getting noticed is his campaign really resembles what we saw from Mayor Pete when he was running. Liz Smith was his communications guru in his campaign, and she put him on every single thing possible, probably even TMZ, if that happened.
It did.
Anywhere that...
Several times.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing with Vivek as well. That's part of why he's getting so much attention. But again, he's getting attention. The scrutiny's now coming.
Well, you know, it's funny you say on TMZ. I believe that this campaign is going to be one on TikTok. I just think when you start looking at cable news, everybody's entrenched, they're older, it's irrelevant. I think this can be because, look, everybody has made up their minds except for a small group. And that group, I think, connects to TikTok.
Look, I think emerging technologies, not even emerging anymore, like TikTok, are going to be very important. But also old school politics, local newspapers, local television in the swing states like Arizona, Georgia, my home state of North Carolina. Those local papers, those local TV stations, local internet-based news sources are going to be very, very important. And those conversations are always different than the conversations in New York and Washington.
Yep.
Good to talk to you, Doug. And,
Thank you, Doug.
We appreciate it.
Anytime.
Okay, we're taking a break.
All right, when we come back, Blueface recovering from a stabbing. The rapper/boxer was in the gym training when a man just walked in, and even though Blueface got in a couple of shots, this guy had a knife on him. We'll show you how it turned out for him and why his son is making an appeal to his father to quit boxing. Welcome back to TMZ Live. Rapper Blueface is, I think, lucky to be alive after a very terrifying incident with a man who ran into a boxing gym where Blueface was training. He is a pretty successful amateur boxer as well as his music career. And this guy had a knife and had it out for Blueface. Now, he survived the stabbing, but I mean, anytime you get stabbed, that's not a good thing.
But the whole thing about the stabbing is just bizarre.
It's very bizarre. So, like I said, Blueface was in the middle of a training session in the gym when this guy came in. Now, he is now looking back a day later, looking at this and thinking about what went down when this guy came in. So you're about to hear him narrating the video of this incident. Here's Blueface's play-by-play of his stabbing.
He walks in talking about, you want to fight? I'm looking like, who the are you? He keeps approaching me with this look in his eye, and I know that look. All right. You know some never met before in my life.
So there's a lot of that for a few minutes, walking back and forth. The trainer is trying to split them up. And at some point, Blueface just says, enough is enough. I got my gloves on. I'm going to take this guy out. The problem is he didn't knock him out. And you're going to see right here, he takes something out of his pocket. It's a knife.
It is a knife.
So yeah, the video cuts out before you see him get stabbed, but we actually, he posted this video yesterday. We reached out to his trainer. Essentially, he said this random guy walked into the gym with his Rottweiler and basically just said he wanted to fight him, he wanted to kill him. Neither Blueface nor the trainer recognized the guy. They claimed to have no clue who he was. After Blueface gets stabbed in the leg, the guy actually flees in his Tesla. He ended up turning himself in yesterday, so he was arrested. He's in jail currently. He came with his dog, so the dog stayed at the jail until the family came and got it. But just a very bizarre scene. And the other thing Blueface posted about is he was actually supposed to be on the boxing card for Logan Paul's fight in October, and he's no longer going to be able to fight because he got stabbed in the leg. So he didn't go to the hospital. But
he's okay, right?
He's doing fine. He's posted like cute videos with his son recovering and stuff. So.
He said his son is kind of helping take care of him while he's at home nursing this injury, but his son also has some concerns about what happened to his father.
This is why you shouldn't go.
Go where? To the boxing gym?
Yeah.
Why?
Remember, he just pulled out a knife, and then he scraped you. So you should not.
Don't go there no more?
Because it's gonna pull out a knife again and then scrape you again.
Got you, champ.
Wow, that is really upsetting that this kid has to hear that and
by the way, you can tell that
process
he didn't tell him, he didn't use the word stab.
But he knew about the knife.
Yeah, he said, oh, he scraped daddy. Well, a little more than a scrape.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
Lindsay, I'm from Indianapolis. I don't condone violence on any level, but I'm honestly surprised no one has stabbed him before now. At a minimum, at least Krishan. But he's pretty offensive to people. He pisses a lot of people off. So this doesn't surprise me at all.
He does have his enemies.
That is true, and you know,
wow,
he definitely has done a lot of things.
Wow,
but no one. That's over the line.
Okay,
obviously.
We are going to move on.
Yes, moving on now to Tan Mom, who we had on the show last week. We told you that she is now running for U.S. Senate.
Don't laugh. Remember,
I shouldn't laugh.
Crazy things have happened in this country.
Absolutely. And I'm going to use her full name, Patricia Krenzel, because that's the name that's going to be on the ballot.
Well, wait a minute.
Pretty sure it's not going to say Tan Mom.
We're going to get into that in a minute.
But she is about to drop her first campaign video. We got a little preview of it. Here is her platform. And look, she is not running away from the fact that she had some celebrity for doing what she did, which, just to remind you, because it was many years ago, The reason she became famous because she
brought a kid to a tanning salon.
Kid to a tanning bed, and the school got ticked off, and she got in trouble. So now here is the candidate, Patricia Krenzel, on why she should be the next senator from Florida.
You might remember me being that tan mom from New Jersey, but that was a decade ago. Crazy tans, table flipping, snooky. It was an interesting time, but like the world we live in, I've changed greatly. I lost my husband last year to cancer, and I know what it's like to deal with insurance companies. Most people don't find Shakespeare and Sesame Street offensive. I also believe that drag queens can be amazing role models for kids. Finally, we need to protect Medicare and Medicaid for our seniors. Somebody called me a compassionate conservative. And you know what? They're right. I'm listening. Let's talk.
Well, I know Harvey loves to make the point that celebrities have done very well in elections historically, but I think we should also say that a lot of people just run to raise their profile, and I'm going to call out Tan Mom here, and I think you could even just watch this video on mute, and it can clearly show how she's not serious about running for Senate, given the fact that it looks like she's doing this in her bedroom. It looks like there's a bed right behind her that isn't even made. There's like a purse on it, pillows. I mean, if you're going to do a campaign ad, at least clean up the room that you're doing it in. This is clearly just an attempt to gain more publicity.
What I'm wondering is, look, she's known as Tan Mom, so I know she's going to go by Patricia on the ballot, but there was always a second line. Can you do AKA Tan Mom? Because that's how people know her. I'm actually being really serious.
I know you are.
And I don't know.
I mean, I think that I agree with you that would be wise for her if she can.
Jane, I'm from Trenton, New Jersey, and I want to comment on the Tan Mom. This is what she's been doing for the past decade. Dancing on tables, at the beach, and for me, she kind of looks a little hard to look at. It's not even a campaign video. I just can't take her seriously at all. And again, with the stuffed animals on the bed in the background, she just looks hard to look at for me. So, I mean, I want my politicians or somebody that's my senator.
Okay,
listen,
now that we know, the stuffed animals are clearly a buzzkill.
This is some good criticism, and Tan Mom can take all this for her next campaign video.
Okay, we are going to take a break.
All right, when we come back, R. Kelly about to fork out $500,000, and it's going to his victims, even though he didn't necessarily want to pay this. We will tell you who stepped in to garner his wages, as it were, to pay back the victims. Well, R. Kelly is likely going to remain in prison for the rest of his life, and so his music career is dead. But the money he makes from music is definitely not dead, and that money is now being tagged to go to his victims, whether he likes it or not. In fact, it's a lot of money, $500,000, just over $500,000, that will be garnished from his music royalties at Universal Music Group. He owed this money in restitution to, I don't know how many victims it is, but this is from one of his federal cases, the one where he is now currently doing time. He still has several other trials to face.
So I have a question about this. Are people listening to his music still to generate that kind of money?
His old catalog is still generating that kind of money. I mean, that, and it goes to show, you know, look,
really?
There's certainly been a, you know, the cancel R. Kelly movement, and that you don't hear his music as often, certainly not on the radio, which is where it would make a lot of money, but clearly there are people buying his old music or streaming his old music.
I'm surprised at this.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised
that there's that much money.
That kind of money, because that's not 50%.
Well, we don't know how long that money was accumulated, but it was sitting there with Universal.
And I would have thought it would have gone to his lawyers at this point.
And maybe they've already taken a cut.
Maybe they have taken a cut. I just was surprised at the amount.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Danny from Buffalo. All I have to say about this is good. The victims deserve that money. And I guess you can feel better about streaming his music if you have, assuming that's where the money came from.
But that's an interesting point, too.
But
that there's an incentive now for people to listen to pay the victims.
As long as it's going to continue going to the victims.
Right. Okay, it is that time of the week, folks.
Your favorite time. Tim is here with his rejects. What do you got, Tim?
So, are you guys in the market for a boat or a yacht?
Actually.
I'd love a boat.
All right, well, I think I got something for you, Harvey. So it's an all-electric hydrofoil boat/yacht.
Oh, wow.
So
not very attractive.
It's not.
But,
well, actually,
okay.
it's all glass. If you see in the inside, it's really nice.
I like that. That's cool.
You can go 60 miles on the range, and it goes up to 35 miles an hour. It's kind of more of just a cruising type.
What do you mean you can only go 60 miles?
It doesn't look like it do very well in weight.
So you have to charge it like an electric car.
And
it goes 60 miles on a charge. So.
Okay, so Tim, here's my question. If you went to Catalina, that's 26 miles. And then it's coming back is 26 miles. So you got very little room for error, Tim.
There is a little. I think they're still working. Yeah, but
this is better on a lake, I think.
Around the marina there.
It's better on a lake.
Okay, next.
All right, so Harvey, I know you're pretty good at ping pong, right?
I am.
Okay, so have you played doubles ping pong before?
I hate doubles ping pong.
Okay, well, you'll hate this even more. So check this out. It's a ping pong. You play with teams, and your teamate has to move the table in order for you to hit it on the table.
Oh, God, that is difficult.
So it's very difficult, but it might be a little fun.
That is
but
crazy.
You really have to rely on your other teammate.
Oh, my God, that is crazy.
Yeah, so.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Woo. Out of my league.
A lot of exercise, maybe, for the person pushing the table.
That's crazy.
Huh.
Okay.
All right, so kite surfing is fun and exciting until it's not. So this guy went kite surfing, having fun. He lifts up into the air.
Oh, he got oh, no! Oh, Tim!
Yeah.
Oh,
God,
that hurts.
It's a soft landing.
Yeah.
It's a soft landing.
No, it's not a soft landing. He hit, oh my God.
Yeah, he might have
He didn't hit a tree trunk. He's fine. He's walking out.
Rescue them.
We've seen Tim do far worse.
A few scratches, that's fine. But,
God. Well, no, he hits. Oh.
If he could just gotten his legs up
another
4 inches.
Oh, God.
All right.
Okay,
that's a good one.
See ya.
Wow.
Hey, at least we know the guy was okay at the end. Tim doesn't normally do that.
He's limping. That happened to the cow that he showed like 2 months ago. Okay, we're taking a break.
All right, when we come back, a really alarming sight that has led to something pretty tragic. Someone wanted to get a nice Instagram shot, and he did, with a baby dolphin. The problem is he lifted the baby dolphin out of the water, and that dolphin is now dead. And now that guy could be in a lot of trouble. Talking jail time. This is a clear case of an Instagram photo op, the search for the perfect Instagram photo op going way too far. A guy in Florida posted a photo of himself holding a baby dolphin up out of the water.
Do not do that, ever.
Yeah. First of all, it is against the law, as this guy is most likely about to find out. But also, it's just cruel.
Yeah, Charles, it's unclear. That dolphin on Wednesday was then found dead in the Jacksonville, Florida area. Now the Florida wildlife people are investigating. Like you said, it could certainly be a violation of the Marine Mammal Protection Act, and he could actually face up to a year in jail and a large fine of $34,000 if he were charged and convicted.
But we should also explain how that affects a dolphin when you take it out of the water.
Right, that you can't. Scientists say that if you take it out of the water, they need buoyancy so that they can continue breathing. Yes, they breathe air like we do, so they're fine, except that their own weight collapses on their lungs and they can't breathe when they're out of the water for that reason. So
there's a big uproar.
Hey, TMZ, Jason from Chicago. First thing, whenever you see a animal that looks injured or if it's beached, your first reaction shouldn't be, hey, let me just take a picture of it and hold it up for, some likes and some clicks. But this is why we see this trend now of animals like striking back when people are like taking the photo ops and everything. And honestly, whenever I see that happen, it warms my cold dead heart. I will never not laugh at animals striking back when people try to get close for pictures.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of that.
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of it, especially like in national parks, bears and things.
It's really true.
Yeah.
What else do you guys want to talk about?
Emo LeBlanc calling in from Alberta, Canada. I wanted to talk about Britney Spears. I mean, Britney fought really hard to get out of the conservatorship. Then she finds a guy who is no longer in the picture, and now she's supporting the guy who's no longer in the picture. And to top that off, she now has PETA on her back for buying a dog. Folks, why don't we just leave Britney alone, please?
Well,
people love to quote that.
And
people
by the way,
love to quote that.
Therein lies the problem, because Britney is alone. And I will say that tonight we have a special on Fox at 8 o'clock, 7 Central, precisely about that, called Britney Spears' Divorce and Despair. And we get into her life, which is very solitary, very alone. And believe me, that when you watch this, a lot of people at the end are going to say, did the Free Britney people really do her any favors? Because she is desperately alone. One more.
Hey, this is Jacob out of Irving, Texas. I feel for Britney. She's had a really rough go at it. I really hope that she can move forward with her life now. And I really hope that she gets to live her life now freely without having to deal with a lot of this drama.
Yeah, something's got to happen. You will see tonight. We're going to take a break.
All right. When we come back, A$AP Rocky out and about, the new dad, A$AP Rocky. And everyone's waiting to find out what is the name of the new baby he and Rihanna just had.
Starts with an R.
We know it starts with an R, and you're going to hear him tee it up for you when we come back. Everyone is waiting to find out what is the name of RZA's baby brother, A$AP Rocky and Rihanna. Of course, we told you that they had the baby, she had the baby, on August 3rd. And we know that the baby boy...
Starts with an R.
His name starts with an R.
So everybody in the family now starts with an R.
Yeah, everyone does. Will they follow suit? A$AP was out in West Hollywood last night and was asked the million-dollar question. Here's his answer.
I got the shoes, man. Let's see the shoes. Man, those Mary Jane vibes. Congrats on the baby, Rocky, man. Any name for it yet? Coming soon.
Oh, come on!
Why is it a thing that they don't give the name? You know, it's not like we're going to have telemarketers call them. By the way, again, our special TMZ Investigates Britney Spears Divorce and Despair, where we get into what happened here. Tonight, 8 o'clock, 7 Central on Fox. We will see you tomorrow.